and feel welcome here today. So here we are. It's time for answers. You asked questions. We asked you, what are some of the things that are burning on the inside of you that you need answers for? So we are going to go through that, and I'm not answering it. This is not a Q&A. You ask the questions and I answer them. This is us. This is us talking to each other, finding answers for our questions. Before we get into that, there was something that's really important. Please just check that you are muted. It sounds like one person is unmuted here, or maybe two, I don't know. What is the mission of Toastmasters International? You see, when you join a company, when you're part of a group or anything, you've got to know what's their mission, because if that's not your mission, you're in the wrong place. So let's find out what is, does anybody know? Loni, your mic is on. Just mute your mic, please. Go. Thank you. Anybody here can give me one word that you think might be inside the Toastmasters International mission? Just type me a word. What word do you think would be crucial in Toastmasters International mission? Look, this is not to check you whether you're right or wrong. This is just to wake you up, that's all. So heck, type in there what you think, and I guarantee you nobody's going to remember. Just get the motor going. Okay. So if you were in my class, I would get you all to stand up and we would all do a little bit of rah, 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 pushing up the ceiling. And some of you are sitting on your couch and you say, this woman's got too much energy for me. Okay, so let's go on. I'm looking for things in the chat box. I don't see enough yet. Oh, there's some good ones. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's see. What is Toastmasters International? We empower, Toastmasters International. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. That's the organization's job with us. Okay, now we as clubs, we have a mission, and that's what we connect to. So first of all, check, do you want to be empowered to become a more effective communicator and leader? And if your answer is yes, then yay, you're in the right place. Now let's have a look at on a club level. So whatever your club is, now yellow is supposed to be the color for learning. And it says whatever your Toastmasters club is, you can put your name in there. Provide a supportive and positive learning experience. Now, when I train leaders, I always talk about the culture of care, because the biggest problem that people have is engagement with their teams, etc., or clientele or whatever. And I talk a lot on engagement, but I talk at it from a perspective of creating a culture of care. If ever you hear me talk, you always hear me come up with that word, culture of care. And right here, that's what it says, a positive, supportive, provide a supportive and positive learning experience. That is exactly what a culture of care is about. If we keep on doing that, what happens? In which members are empowered. Because we do that, we are empowering members to move into an area level, because now they are developing communication and leadership skills. And in that area level, we now, where they are practicing and empowered to practice that, we now prepare them for division, district, and higher, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So with that, let's have a look at this question. Well, first of all, the statement. Every company or business has governing documents. So here is the part relevant to VPEs, the Toastmasters Constitution portion of VPEs, which says the Vice President Education is the second ranking officer and is responsible for planning, organizing, and directing a club program which meets the educational needs of individual members. The Vice President Education chairs the Club Education Committee. The Vice President Education also serves as one of the club's representatives on area and district council, and shall take no action binding upon the club without either specific prior authorization or subsequent ratification by this club. And if you held your attention with me reading all of that, yay, yay, because I even lost my own attention on the way. That just shows you what learning, like reading, is all about. But the purpose of this exercise for me was to show you that your part in this, in the VPE, your official part is one tiny paragraph that upholds a huge amount. And I'm going to focus on what it is for planning, organizing, and directing a club program which meets educational needs of individual members. Okay, now, question, what are VPE's main focus areas? Just unmute yourself and give me some words. Not sentences, just give me some words. What do you think are some VPE main focus areas?
Planning.
Yes, planning. There, good one.
Education.
Education. There we go.
Coordinate club schedule.
Coordinate club schedule. I see there was a raised hand, but it disappeared fast.
Support.
Support. Yes.
Member motivation.
Yes. Yes.
Understand
Yes, and-
goals.
Yes.
Understand member goals.
Wonderful. Please.
Yes. No, it was the same one, setting and
Okay.
achieving goals.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
it should also be that programs are exciting and lively, so that members enjoy the events, and in that context that learning and education takes place.
Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, so let's quickly go through them. Create the culture of care. It's my slideshow. That's why you'll see it up there. But what does it mean? No member needs. No pathways. We've got to know pathways. We've got to know the Toastmasters International website and the processing of member education. We've got to know how to create fun, productive meetings. We've got to know how to plan, how to achieve VPE education portion of that. DCP. We've got to work with the immediate past president on a new member mentor plan. And we've got to remember there's things like speech contest. These are main focus areas. Now, we are here, and before we get digging into those tough questions that some of you were asking, it's really important. We get so overwhelmed. We get so burdened from all sides. We've got to know why we are here. And one of the crucial things are that while you're here, if you are working intentionally, you will be able to achieve mightily. So which transferable skills can you develop as VPE? So this time I'm not going to ask you, I'm just going to give it to you, because here we go. Scheduling, conflict resolution, and I guess you've done a bit of that, haven't you? Negotiations, strategic planning, time management, recognition, with incentives, event planning, personal development, career training, and networking. Now, I want to tell you that all of this, as we go through, you know that the VPEs, there's a VPE training group. And if you are not part of it yet, we'll give you the links on that. And in the description of the WhatsApp, there is a link for all the kinds of resources that you can get. And there is a resource. Watch the VPE masterclass video, which goes into these transferable skills. I have a YouTube channel, Granny B007. Remember, the BE and the 007 must be together. There mustn't be a space. Just don't type Granny only, because, oh boy, they've got funny Granny things there. I don't know. I wouldn't associate that with Granny, but if you type the BE 007, you'll find my channel. And it's just Toastmaster stuff. So watch the VPE masterclass video, because that will give you that kind of information. So as members, here's the question we had. How can we get members to respond? This was the top question asked by most VPEs. How can we get members to respond? I am going to unshare for a moment so that I can see all of you. And I would like to hear from you. Bertus, is your hand up from, is it a legacy hand?
It's a new hand.
Okay,
It's
the
a
new
new
hand.
hand.
Go for it, Bertus, you're up.
I'm having a reasonable success when personally messaging each individual member with his name in the message.
Mhm.
In other words, it's not just the same message to repost it. Each one gets his own name. Hi, hi, Joe, or whatever, and then the question. And I think the responses are reasonably satisfactory that way.
Exactly. That's a given. If you can in your head fix that messages on a group is just like a notice on the notice board, they've noticed it. It doesn't mean they're going to react to it. Unfortunately, it's like that. Man, would they save us a lot of time if they reacted. Heck, if I knew how to push that button, I would do that. But you're right. That is a good one. Archel, it is Archel, or how do you pronounce your name?
Yes, Granny B, perfect. Archel. Yes.
Good. Share with us. It sounded like you are ready to share something too.
Okay, sure. So yes, this has been a challenge, member engagement. And what I find as well, similar to Theron, is that personal engagement helps me a lot. So with the tools available like Teams and also calling them or emailing them or speaking to them, setting up time, this actually gets the members involved. I had an issue where a lot of members didn't have self-confidence and were not wanting to participate in roles and things. Mm-hmm. And then I used a lot of sort of encouragement, which involved one-on-one time to speak to them. So I gave myself targets, and at least over a period of time, I would make sure that I connected with maybe about 3 minimum of those club members in the course of that week to sort of encourage them personally. And that's what helped me to get them engaged. Still working on it, yes. But yeah, 50% there.
But that's wonderful. Can you see how you're busy building a skill on learning how to interact with people? Because I always say, if you can lead a Toastmaster club, you can lead anything. Because when you do it at a company, people get paid for it. They know they'll get sacked if they don't do it. But to lead it in a volunteer organization and to act, because that's when you know you're actually inspiring people to action, which is an amazing skill to learn. It can be so draining, but it is an amazing skill. So that is brilliant. And you touched on something there. So I'm just going to share the slide presentation again and go to what I said. So the question came to us, how can we get members to respond? And then I say, well, maybe we should also ask ourselves, how did we contact them? And you were talking about that personal, both of you were talking about that personal contact thing. And then how did we word it? Did they feel safe? Did they feel cared for? And, oh, right, there we go. How can we create a culture of care? And that's, for me, I just feel that if I am busy working on a relationship with you, and I'm talking to you, and you feel in my heart genuine care, it makes it easier for you, because we don't want to look stupid. We don't want to look ridiculous. And most people come into Toastmasters feeling so insecure. And with us venturing out to go that extra mile, to be personal, it definitely is worth it to help these people. I see there's a message in the chat box. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, thank you. I see it's Bertus putting the registration. Please click on the registration link so that we can continue. Now, if you look at the VPE resources, VPE 01 touches on how to bring in that member survey to find out what it is that they want to do so that you can deal with them on a personal level. But there was another member question asked. The first one was, how do we get them to respond? And the next one is, how can we get members to participate? Because they either say they would do something and then just before meeting, they collapse and say, no, 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 whatever the case may be. So the question here is, how do we get them to participate? So who has something that they feel they have done that has been a wonderful experience in actually getting people to participate? Pamela, share with us.
A pleasant morning to you, and thank you very much. Sorry, I'm a bit under the weather. That's why I was not switching on my camera. But anyway, just to share what we have done at Engineers Toastmasters Club, we identified mentors for each member. So we work with the mentors. That is, the mentors will then drive the goals of each member. And they remind them the purpose of joining Toastmasters and help them to have that confidence to come and present their speeches. So you'll find that most of our speeches from the past 6 months were mainly icebreaker speech, were from level 1, and we have had members that completed their pathways. That includes me, of course. So I think the drive obviously was coming from mentors. So we've been using the mentors mostly, although I would want to mention that it was not all members who were keen to participate, but the ones that were willing to take up the challenge showed up. And I saw that working. Thank you.
Very positive, very positive. You know, Pamela, one of the things that I came across, and not just for you, Pamela, but for everybody else as well, but touching on what you just spoke about with a mentor. And here's something that maybe you guys have a problem with, you know, getting mentors to come to the front, etc. Now, normally when you're busy with mentors and mentees, it's supposed to be driven from the mentee's side. But the mentees don't have a cooking clue what they're supposed to know and how they're supposed to do it. So the mentor needs to learn how to ask questions to be able to see what it is and where the mentee is at. And that kind of engagement then begins to drive it. So it is a little bit of a tricky thing to help the pair, the mentor and the mentee, to just get the ball rolling the way it should be rolling. But some clubs have a problem in actually finding mentors and people stepping forward as a mentor because everybody feels, I'm so overwhelmed. You know the story, you hear it from all sides. You don't need me to tell you that story. But you know what I came across is that when you look at how people learn, now remember, people are joining Toastmasters because they want to learn. So if you look at how do people learn, the more you use your senses, of course, the bigger the amount of learning and internalizing of it. And so that's why Toastmasters also say we learn by doing. That's why this is such an excellent program of learning, because we get to do so much. But the highest form of learning comes from teaching, mentoring, and coaching. When you are a teacher, a trainer, a mentor, or a coach, you receive the highest form of learning. So remember that when you struggle to get coaches and mentors and what have you, tell them that, because that will excite them. If they're truly serious about learning, that will get them going. Clemencia.
Thanks, Granny, for that. I've already taken a couple of pointers from Archel and Theron regarding, creating that personal touch. Our academy is fairly new. We're about 5 months, so there's a lot of learnings that we have. And as VP, it's actually been quite stressful to a certain degree. I get to a point where I'm like, should I quit this because I don't see the members coming through. So with those comments from Theron as well as Archel, I think I've taken a couple of pointers that I'll implement. I think that will certainly be useful. But with what Pamela had indicated in terms of the mentors, where do you, in that particular instance, where do you find the mentors? Is it mentors in the group? Is it former members? Is it people that are willing to be a mentor to the mentees in your club? How do you identify the members, not the members, but the mentors?
Well, it's all of those that you said. So if you are an established club, you would have established members there and you would use them as mentors. But like your case, you're a brand new club, you're a club that's only 5 months old, and everybody there's in that club is new, brand spanking new. So when you sit with a situation like that, in your situation, it is good for you to build relationships with other clubs. Look for clubs that are like-minded. You can find other corporate clubs. Now, I know because you are a bank, it would be very dicey for you to get hold of a different bank. But within Toastmasters, there are other, you are Standard Bank, hey? Yes. Yes. Within Toastmasters, there are a few different Standard Bank corporate clubs. So why don't you connect with them, those that have been on for a while, and say to them, are you willing for a 6-month period to mentor 2 people in our club? So you've got 20 members, it means you need 10 mentors from other Standard Bank Toastmasters Club, and that will come in and just help mentor those people. That would be my suggestion to you. And I don't know if anybody else has another question around that. Let's quickly see what came in. We asked members to volunteer and mentor to take up. It's quite, that's wonderful. No, you can connect with us at SBM Toastmasters. There we go. There comes help. Help is on its way. Thank you. Okay, so I shall continue. I guess that there is another mentor question coming up later, but you can see it fitted in here, the answer quite well. So let's quickly look at the others. We might not get through all the questions, but that doesn't matter, because what I have seen that is really important is I've arranged it that the questions that were the most asked, we are dealing with that first, so that we can sink our teeth into the difficult ones, and the others all have references to where can you find information about them, and the questions are there, and the links of where you can find answers as well. So let's not fear. Now, in this, how can we get members to participate? I've said that, okay, maybe we should also ask ourselves other questions like, do we know their fears? Because sometimes they want to do something, but when they get closer to that, it's a fear, and then they kick back. So when we have that personal relationship and we have those mentors, it helps to encourage people with their fears. Do we know their behavior? Some people just are quiet, zip lips. Doesn't mean they're not with us, but it's just who they are. And we might just have to learn how to handle them slightly different. How can we inspire action? And definitely, I believe you guys came up with great ideas bringing the mentors in. But if you look at VPE 08 folder, there was a training and it deals exactly with that. Then I also said, I've presented this to you, and I say, consider in your planning. When you plan, consider this. Toastmasters, you all know there's this Toastmasters leadership handbook with all the positions of Exco in and other related leadership information. As you read through it, there's all kinds of things that they say that you should have at different times of the year. And I created this calendar so that I have a one-pager that we can look at everything that needs to take place. And in that one-pager, it helps me as VPE how to plan other things, because I know things are getting busy. So now if you have a look at this, you'll see October month, nothing happens, and November, nothing happens. But I have put down for my clubs in November, do club speech contest. So we had our speech contest on the 22nd of November, and we were 3 clubs, because you need 14 team members to have one contest. So we were 3 clubs, not competing against each other, but the judges judged the members of each club against each other, but we used one team, one meeting, 3 clubs, each having their own individual club contest. And we captured it. There's a video that shows you how that happens as well. Okay, but that's not what I'm talking about here. Here, I just want to show you that it is important for you. That's the reason why we do speech contest in November. It's now out of the way. The winners know who they are. They've got the rest of November, they've got December and January to prepare themselves so that when they go in February onto, because it says through Toastmasters International, that area is in December, January, and February. You know, with us, nobody's around in December. January is slow to start. So it's only going to happen in February. I can guarantee you that. But that means our people have all that time to prepare themselves to be ahead of the rest in the area and to be ahead of the rest in the division. So that's why we choose November to do our club contests. So I'm just saying there is this, and this form is in Word, and you can make it to fit your club, and you can find it on VPE02. And you don't have to write this down because you're getting the slide presentation PDF. Okay, another question asked about members is, how do you schedule and keep track of the members' progress? So let's have a look at what do you say about that. Anybody that can share with us anything they have done to keep track and share of members' progress? Okay, so if you're quiet, that means potentially nobody has come up with an amazing thing. Okay, Baptist, go for it.
Not coming up with any amazing thing. I'm just behind on schedule with that.
Okay, and you being honest. Okay, thank you. Right, Blessing, what do you have to say?
So I think from our club, it is mainly a spreadsheet. I mean, we are a new club, so we've got pathway level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the spreadsheet. And I'm using color code just to indicate on, for example, pathway level 1, I've got 5 columns, which means you've done project 1, project 2. So then I have an indicator which moves along. What we do is on our agenda that we post every other session, we put that below. So it's actually visible to the whole. And there's also a learning pathway.
Sorry, Blessing, did you help me understand? So what you've created, it almost looks like a picture that people can see, physically see where everybody is on the levels. Am I right?
Yes, it does. Okay. And also it shows the learning path.
Great.
So you will have your name, your learning path, and where you are. Then we post it to every agenda every other time. Thank you.
Wonderful. Perfect. That is very good. The fact that you post it on the agendas for people to see, that's a very good one. Toastmasters also recommends that. Yes, Archel, share with us, what do you do?
Okay, Granny B. So similar to Blessing and Taran, I think it was, ours is a manual as well. So I keep a tracking sheet, a spreadsheet. And then what I do, so not like Blessing's case, I don't post it with each member agenda, but we have a Microsoft Teams group that's created. And what I do on there is I have a volunteer sheet as well as a tracking sheet. And then what I did in our club was, because I was struggling, so like Clementia mentioned, struggling to get the members to participate. She wondered whether she was doing it wrong or whatever. Same with me, yeah. But what I did was I created a volunteer sheet there as well to encourage them to volunteer. But yes, it's just a manual tracking sheet. And I couldn't get Easy Speak going. I found it myself quite complex. I couldn't get that going in the club. So it has to be manual for us. Okay. Yeah, but like the ideas. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Archel, let me just also tell you that within the Toastmasters environment, it is important that we actually track it, because that's as VPE, your job is to be able to look back, to go back as far as you can. All right, I'm against the wall, I can't go further back, to go back as far as you can and to be able to see as big a picture as you can of everything. So that because that's what strategic planning is, and that if you can learn to do that and you can schedule and learn to plan strategically, that's where you upskill yourself and you set others up for success. So I look at it as two ways. Most of the time, it's 2 weeks before another meeting. So I open up for volunteering the first week. Straight after a meeting, you can volunteer for whatever you want. But a week before the meeting, whatever volunteers did not, whatever is open that wasn't volunteered for, I assign. I just assign, and I assign by my planning, and I just keep the motor going, because most of the time people then wake up one day and realize, oh, I've actually finished a path. Wow. And they get a certificate. In the meantime, it was just me pushing and pushing and pushing and saying, you got to be there, you know, just getting them going. So I want to encourage you. Yes, it's good to let people select, but come back to a place where you just help them go further. So let me share again the screen. And what I have is that to do that, VPE DOCOTii. Artel, did you just put your hand up again? It just flashed by me. So I don't know if it's a new hand or a hand coming down. Okay, okay. So in our VPE folder DOCOTii, is a video on the sheets. My spreadsheets are there on how to plan, the videos there on how to do it, everything. Oh, maybe I should just add here. When you access the VPE drive with all the resources and you click on like VPE DOCOTii or VPE DOCOTii, the first, because some of them have just 1 or 2 resources in, but some of them can have up to 15, 16 resources, and you'll think, where do I begin? The only thing that I found to help you remember where do you begin is look in each folder for the 007 file. It will say 007 and something. Make that the first file you open, because that gives an outline of the training and has live links to all the resources that are in there. So as you read that document and you want something, you just click on it and it'll take it out of there. So just remember, look for the 007 document first. It's a PDF. And then from there, it makes it easier. Okay, let's go to the next question. We got to hurry. What is and why should we have a successful club? So let's go by asking the question first, what is a successful club? Let's have some answers there. What is a successful club? Okay, what would you think? What would you hope a successful club would be? Okay, what would your dream successful club be? Bertus, go for it.
Well, I think that natural participation of everybody, keenness to participate, and then that members are progressing on the educational path, progressing, and then through that we manage to achieve the goals that Toastmasters set for us in a way that's natural. But that's not real life always.
Okay, thank you. Nana, share with us your ideas.
For me, it would be members attending members attending club meetings as scheduled, and also participating, whether they're taking up roles or being speakers, and progressing through their pathways, you know. So that for me is what I see as a successful club, being able to get members to attend and completing pathways and participating.
Yes, yes, participating and progress. I mean, it's like a tree. How do you know a tree is alive? It's growing, you know. If it's not growing, it's dying, you know. It's the same with a club. Excellent, thank you. Pamela, share with us.
Okay, I think for me, it's a club that has an enabling environment for all members to comfortably present their speeches and participate, show up. So I think the environment really matters. Thank you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Environment matters a lot. Okay, so let's have a look at, that was what is. So I think we also answered without realizing why should we have a successful club, but let's have a look at then what is it? You know, a successful club has DCP and succession plan. And the DCP and succession planning is, there are 6 educational goals, 2 membership goals, 1 training goal, and 1 administrative goal. And look at it from you as, as in looking at it as me. I'm in this club. What must I do? Because you see, Toastmasters International, they went on this journey to say, what is it that would, when people pay their membership fees, what is it that's going to give them the highest value for their membership fees? And they discovered, yes, if they are learning and growing, that's how it will happen. So how will they learn and grow? Where will they learn and grow? What would that look like? And they said, yep, it's got to be a successful club. And what are the components of a successful club? And that's where DCP came from. So that's the day that the penny dropped, that it is about, that DCP is about me. Because Toastmasters International says we need to create the best member experience. The best member experience. And if I'm a member, it must be the best experience for me. So what is going to create, and this they came up with through statistics and results and research over a track period of time. So this is what they saw. This is the actuals. So if we duplicate this, if these are our goals, then we will be able to be successful. That means if we're reaching the educational goals, it means people are coming to meetings, they are presenting their projects, they are learning and growing. The 2 membership goals are there because they've seen over a period of time, there are about 8 members that will move or drop off or whatever happens to them. So if you at least do those 2 goals, it means you will sustain your membership quantity. And to be DCP, you need to have those 20 members. Yes, there's other things to it as well, but for now, I just share that. And your training goal and your administrative goal. Now, what are those for me? If I am doing my pathway projects, I'm contributing to those 6 goals. If I invite a friend, if I do my part to invite people on a personal level to make sure we have new members, but on a VPE level, what I've discovered, somewhere I did a training on retention. There was a study done on people that were top, can't remember what their titles were, of exceptionally large groups of where you have subscriptions or membership fees, etc. And because they did a study and they found out that it costs you more to get new members than what it does to retain members. So if it is better to retain members, what should you do to retain members? And there were 5 points that came out from these top executives of these kind of companies. And when I looked at that, I saw, but that's exactly what a VPE is supposed to do. So I realized that a VPE's job actually brings in to action retaining members. So that's me personally and as a VPE. And the last 2, training goal, you being here today, is your part of saying, I will allow myself to be trained for the better of me, my club, and the members. And the last one is administrative goal, meaning I've paid my membership fees. Can you see how I contribute to all the DCP goals to make my club successful, and I need to encourage everyone else to do that. And the last question is, so who will lead next? Because that is what that's what the club succession plan is about, that you do at the beginning of your tenure as a leader. Now, we're going to get into that a bit deeper later. But if you go to VPE 03, there you will find more information. So why and what are the VPE DCP goals? Unmute yourself and tell me any of you know.
You know, I always have to confirm that I understand what is exactly being asked. I mean, I'm not sure, Granny B, are these the goals, the club goals that we have? And those ones that we track as VPE, our portion of what we need to work on.
That's right. That's
Is
right.
this what it is?
That's
Okay.
right.
It's on that dashboard, on the club dashboard.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So your question is, you're asking why and what are the VPE DCP goals?
Well, I think
Okay.
we've already answered the why. So I think we can just look at the what. Yes.
Sure. Okay. So I don't have my dashboard in front of me, but yes, it's there. I'm not sure if you're going to pull it up in yours, but I have seen it. I do.
Okay. And you
we
know
do
what we're
track it.
talking about. Great.
Yes, yes. Thank
Can
you,
I
guys.
can I give it a try?
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Do you mean like 4 level 1
Yes.
awards?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
2 level 2? Okay. Okay, so four level 1s, two level 2s, and 2 more level 2s,
Yes.
level 3s, 1 level 4, 5 or DTM, and
There.
1 more level 4, 5 or DTM.
Thank you. Thank
Wanda,
you, Mawanta.
Good job.
you.
Good job. Good job. Yes, that's just, I mean, this is what we're supposed to do. And if you work a lot with it, you will know what it is. If you haven't been able to work a lot with it because you're brand new and you're still trying to find your teeth and feet, I asked that question because it's something that we need to get inside of ourselves. So you did well. 4 level 1s, 2 level 2s, again 2 level 2s, 2 level 3s, 1 level 4, 5 or DTM. And that, if you add them up, those are the 6. And where do you get that? VPE 06. Now we come to the question, what to do on Basecamp and Club Central. So I'm going to take you through this. I'll ask some questions and I'll just get you to do a shout out, but I'm kind of going to lead you through this a little bit. So here you can see there are 2 separate things. Remember, put it in your head, they're separate. Take a mental picture of this. 2 separate things. They are not connected. The only thing that connects them is the name Toastmasters, but it's Toastmasters Club Central and Toastmasters Basecamp. There is no connection between the 2. They are not connected. On Club Central, what you normally have happening is you would have the VPM comes in and he'll add a new, or she will add a new member at Club Central. And once a new member has been added and they've paid, the treasurer will come and process the payment. A little while later, should this person then become one of the exco, the secretary will upload that person as a club officer. But let's go back to this new member. So now this new member comes on board. And this new member gets to log into Basecamp and selects a path and starts, and a level and works through the level, going to do their speeches. And completes a level, rah, rah. Then submits the level for approval. Now what? This is now, so far you've got the picture, am I right? You all know that picture so far. Talk to me. Tell me now what? So a member has submitted a level for approval. Now what?
Yeah, okay, maybe let me have a go.
Go for it. Thank you, Noel.
Yeah, so the first thing is on the Basecamp, you ensure that they've uploaded the portfolio of evidence that they have actually completed. Then you complete on Basecamp, and then you also now have to go to Club Central so they can get the award and the official email from Toastmasters International, where you can now share with the rest of the club that a great success, someone has finished the levels.
Yay! Yeah. Well done, Noel. Well done. That is exactly what it is. Number one, because remember Toastmasters values of RISE, R-I-S-E, the I is integrity. we as VPEs need to show integrity. So there's got to be some proof that they've actually done those things. There's various ways in which you can do it. You can either get them to upload it onto Basecamp, their evaluation forms. Some people truly struggle with that. So I just ask them to take a photo or a screenshot or the actual evaluation, just send it to me so that I can have proof you have done those. It's been evaluated on this day by that person. We can see it's done. So once I see all the projects that you're supposed to do, I have received all the evaluations from that, then I can go to Basecamp. So here is what you need to understand. The missing link between the two is VPE. VPE is the link between Basecamp and Club Central, because if VPE only approves it in Basecamp, Club Central will never, ever know. Never, never, ever, 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 ever will they know. It's not going to work. You and I, we as VPEs, we are the missing link. And that's exactly what I also have is on my spreadsheet, I have a place there where I have 2 dates, because sometimes something, I put the date when I approve it on Basecamp. I do that, and the one on Club Central, because I've found that sometimes I've just approved the one and then something happens and blah, 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 and off I've gone, and I never went to Club Central because of something. But when I check back there and I see there's a date missing, I quickly have a look, and then I can see, oh, I messed up. Let me quickly fix it, you know. So I also make mistakes, but I put little processes in to help me to try and shine and be as sharp as possible. So the VPE is the link. Repeat after me. I am the link.
I am the link.
I am the link.
There we go. You are the missing link. Okay. So if you have a look in VPE 11, there it shows you how to approve on Basecamp, how to upload in Club Central, and how to issue a digital certificate. That's in VPE 11. Now, looking at leadership, we say how to establish subcommittees and succession planning. Although we had succession planning there by DCP, but here is the actual question that people asked. I wonder, yes. So we have you, and we need to have committee members, at least 2, and then the club members come from there. So how do we establish that subcommittee and a succession plan? Let's have a discussion. Who would like to share with us what they're doing or what they wish they could be doing or whatever? It's your time. Talk to us. Thank you, Noel.
Okay. For us, what we've done is at our EXCO level, we plan the succession. So each EXCO member looks at members that they think they can succeed them. Then we also have subcommittees, especially like for the VP, for the educational goals. You need a committee of members, of mentors, so that the members can be attached to those mentors, so that they look after their education. So each executive member is encouraged to have a small committee that can assist them, because you can't do everything on your own, otherwise you burn out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I would like to contribute.
Absolutely, no. Very well put as well. When you read anything about leadership, they normally say where you see you've got a great leader, it's somebody that is able to lead in such a way that he's left a legacy behind of leaders, people that can take over. So that is what we can do, is the moment if you are, now I know that there are, I'm telling you, I became coach of a struggling club because on record, it says there are 9 members, but actually the actual number of members that come to meetings that do anything, 4. Now, how can you, with those 4, that means, can you imagine how struggling the exco is? Because you don't even have a full exco. So I'm VPE, and I double up as many other things in order to try and make this work, and struggling to get somebody to just come on board at that time. So you do find situations like that. But I know, I know that if we just continue and keep the motor going, and so what I'm doing is I constantly, when we have meetings, invite other people so that we can have a high energy meeting. And when you invite other people from other Toastmasters to have that high energy meeting, we also invite some local people that potentially can become members, so that if there is this high energy meeting and really a good meeting taking place, and you can get locals to come on board, then you can begin to train them that way. It's a process. So it's possible that you don't have anybody that you can bring in. But if you don't have anybody to bring in right now, strategize. Make a plan, look ahead. What can you do in order to make it work? You see, I chose to take on this club as a coach, not for any other reason. Okay, let me first of all put it this way. Everything I do is intentional. It always has a benefit for me. Everything I do has a benefit for me. But everything that has a benefit for me has a benefit for everybody else too. So I'm intentional to fulfill the benefit for me, because I can see it fulfills other people's benefits too. I love to help people. That's me. I love to help. I love to see you excel, and I'm excited if I can be a part of that. So my intention to help, but I've learned that if I'm helping you, I learn a lot more when I'm helping you than what you learn. You are learning, but I'm learning more. So that's why I'm happy to help, because I'm learning more. Sounds selfish, doesn't it? But you know what? We all benefit from it. So I put a huge effort in it, and you will gain so much from it, but so will I. If you have that strategy, you learn to excel. Okay, let's move on to the next point. Screen share. And the next, and VPE 19 covers that. So you might think, what are these VPE 10, 19, what? I have done in that group every Friday a training with the VPEs. And these are the trainings we've done and how we've helped the VPEs to get through that. So how to manage everything as a VPE, work and personal life. This is the question that many people ask. How do we manage it all? What the heck should we do to manage it all? Well, this is about time management. This question is purely about time management. So let's quickly hear if anybody here has something amazing to share on how they manage to manage their time, or a trip or a trick they discovered that saved some time. Thank you, Artel.
Hi, Granny B and everyone again. Yeah, so this I believe is at the heart of everything we do. I mean, guys, you know, I have to be honest. I really struggled with this myself, trying to manage everything, you know. And so what I found helped me, I was on one of these training sessions where Andrew Suro mentioned that you can elect or nominate some associate helpers, associate VPEs, or people in your team, so you don't go it alone. And that's what I did. In our team, I've got 2 people to help me, but their helping is just limited. You know, it is helping me with the agendas. So what I did, because I was very overwhelmed, I took, so in a month, we have 2 meetings. And then to do the agenda and get people to full roles, what I do is I run 2 meetings back to back. I do the agendas for 2 meetings. And for the next month, where we have 2 more meetings, I've got one of those people to plan the one and one of those people to plan the other. What I did was an Excel spreadsheet to help them as well track their time. So I put on that spreadsheet which meetings I'm taking, and they filled in which meetings they were taking. I proposed it and they agreed. And then I put together a column of possible meeting themes as well. So I selected mine, they selected theirs. So that plan is there. So that helped me from setting up the meeting perspective, maybe something you can try. And then something else that I did was meeting every member. I mean, we used to have 13 in July when I started this role. And now we've taken on new members. So we've got like something like 20 members. So with me, it's 21, right? So it's crazy. I couldn't, Granny B, I couldn't physically do all that meetings. I couldn't get. So I said to my president, you know what? You've got a goal to meet members and I've got a goal to meet members. So in the 6 months that we've got, please can you meet all the senior members and people on the team, and I will make sure I meet every newcomer. And I split the list like that because and then the member interest survey, what I did was I created an online version of that. And I sent that online version out, as well as I used it when I met them, just to hide, but the time was short. I couldn't cover everything, but that's what I did from my experience so far. Wonderful. And then coming to the next 6 months, I will then touch base with the list of that my president already touched this year, the people that I didn't speak. That's the only way I found I could.
That's excellent. Wow, Arthur, that's really great work. What you are describing there is you have caught on the capacity to, as a VPE, to strategize and to plan. The greatest gift to yourself is to do that extra work of sitting down and taking that hour or 2 hours, 5 hours if it needs to sit and plan the year ahead with all the aspects, the little potential themes and all the other bits and pieces. Because once you've done that, to adjust it as you go along makes it so much easier. And there's a continuity, there's a wholeness to it. It is precious. That is so amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And I'm hoping that that inspires the rest of you to look, as a VPE, learn to look at the big picture. Now, years ago, they told us that our brain is divided, left brain, right brain. The one is detailed and the other one is artistic. But then they discovered it's not true. It's not how it is. It is the one side of the brain is focused on the pieces, like a puzzle, the pieces of a puzzle. And the other side of the brain works at looking at the big picture. Now, I've learned I am the big picture person. If I go visit another country or a town, I want to see the map. I want to look at the whole map. And then I see, okay, I want to go there and I want to go there. And in my mind, I get coordination of how it looks like. And once I have that in my mind, when I'm there in the town, I constantly have those things in mind and I can put the little pieces together because I can see, I just need to go in that direction and I'll find it. And that's the same with business, with planning, with and if you can develop that skill inside of yourself and use your VPE time to develop that skill, I'm telling you, in the business environment, this is a classic ability and skill needed, where you don't just develop it like that overnight. And I want to encourage you to just put that extra in as being a VPE and learn to do this, because you will reap the benefits. So well done, Archil, on what you've done so far. Back to the time management story. So I don't know if anybody was part of the lead group of that district offered. They offered the lead program. And in the lead program, I did session number 8. And I handled exactly how to handle time management, how to handle, I have a small portion on stress, what stress is, and I have a large portion on time management, and there's even sheets on how to set it out for yourself. So please have a look at that. And now at the notes again, I'm just checking, have you registered your attendance for this training? Please make sure you've registered. And Bettis, do you mind to just throw that into the chat for us again, so that we can be sure everybody is, you know, you're so fast. You're brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay. Because as you've noticed, we have changed our number of people attending. It started off with so many, and then it grew, and then it dropped. And so we just need to make sure who is here for the whole training. Great. So outside challenges, one of the things that people were asking, how do we deal with outside challenges like load shedding and COVID and all of those things? So please tell us, what are some of the things you can do to deal with outside challenges? Nana, share with us your story, please.
Well, I don't have a story like that. Load shedding is our biggest problem, I think, for the past month or two. So one of our meetings, actually, what we tend to do is actually have a lot of speakers. So we'll end up having like 4 to 5 speakers, and then we'll have 2 speakers as backup speakers, so that when other speakers, should they have an emergency or something like that, then we can easily call those ones up to actually fill in those roles. So that's what we tend to do. We try to, you know, make sure that meetings go on regardless of the situation. And with load shedding, it does become difficult. We've seen members go into their cars, you know, having Zoom sessions while they're in their cars and on their phones. Like our previous VPE, he was literally in his car having, and our president, she was jumping between laptop and phone, you know, so it's just like finding a way to, you know, and I'm glad that they actually do give us a schedule from, you know, regarding load shedding. But from a speaking perspective, we just try and have as many speakers as we possibly can. And should somebody drop off, we just obviously fill that role.
Wonderful. That's excellent. Pamela, you also have something to share.
Yes, thank you very much. I just wanted to share a story of at one time we had a treasurer, and unfortunately he just joined for about 3 months, and then he died of a short illness. It really had an impact on our club and the whole of the executive committee. So what we did to celebrate his life was to have a meeting dedicated to him. We invited in his family members, we invited in his friends. He was a teacher, a finance teacher. So we invited in his classmates and all the students that were taught by him, and it was well attended. It was one of our biggest meetings, and in that meeting we also managed to have new members registering their interest with Toastmasters, and to date I can confirm that about 2 have registered fully, that is, they've paid and they are now our members. So I think such experiences bring us together. In as much as it was quite a difficult time for us, we also found ourselves growing in other aspects, and it was not an easy road for us. Thank you very much.
Wow, that is so true, especially if we can use the difficult times, and through that we can overcome, and it draws others together. That's such a powerful story. Thank you for the 2 of you for that encouragement. That was brilliant. So yes, whatever happens, let's try and find ways in which we can overcome this. So load shedding, we will overcome you. and whatever else there is to overcome, we will overcome. Okay, so there was a question on how to track pathways and schedule future dated events on Easy Speak. I'm not going to go into that now, but I will just tell you that there is a folder called Easy Speak. There are trainings on there and all kinds of bits and pieces of Easy Speak in that section. Mentoring. A lot of people ask about it. We've touched on it. So I will just say in VPE 5B, which is a very small section, VPE 5 is on taking a new member. It's my new member pathways orientation. And we mention the mentoring at the end because we say that if you have a new member, it is crucial for them to have a mentor. And I even want to add here is that once a member, if you've got an expanding and exploding club and you are running short of mentors, when a member has finished their first level, technically speaking, they have the capacity to help another new member also through to finish the first level. Although Toastmasters refer to official mentors by the official guide as somebody that has finished level 2, if you are really stuck, you can just use somebody that's prepared to walk a road with this new member to also help them finish the path. In that VPE number 5, I've cut it up into 3 sections. There's 3 PDFs. The first PDF is when you're a brand new member, how to log into Toastmasters International, how to find the place where you select a path, what choices do you need to make, all of those things, and the important thing of how to allow pop-ups, because if you don't allow pop-ups, you can't do your training, etc. So that is the important thing in the first section. The second section is how to now that you found your path, how do you work on your path? And that explains all the bits and pieces of working on a path. And the third one is how do you close off a project and a path so that you have completed that. And they are in PDF form. There is a video that goes through it so that you can just send those links to your new members and they can work through that on their own. And the mentor and the new member can work together with it. They can sit with the PDF or they can watch the video. But I really try to go into detail so that anybody that has challenges can hopefully also deal with that. Right, let's look at strategizing. Sustainability of the club and managing club meetings. I did the masterclass video that I did. I handled that thing quite well. Tell me from your side, what is there that anybody has done that you think has added to the sustainability of the club and the managing of club meetings? We've had some really good feedback here. Thank you, Bertus.
I just want to tell the story of what has been happening in the one club, well, the club in which I'm VPE, Capitol Hill. It's a young club, and we actually formed, but by November last year, we chartered, but by November last year, we ended up with 5 members and 2 committee members. Basically me as sergeant and the president, Kwena Mperuana. No other committee members left. Okay, we've gained some more members and lost a few again. At the moment, we're standing at 10 paid up and hopefully 2 more that will pay up. Anyway, but typically we've been having about 5 to 7 members attending meetings. So we are really dependent on participants from other clubs, and they have been forthcoming. and that keeps meetings lively and not strenuous. But our most recent meeting ended up as having just 3 participants from our club, plus 7 from other clubs. So it was 10 people, but the meeting was really, it really went down very well. And the story I want to tell is that the participation of people from elsewhere, from members from elsewhere, makes it work. And Zoom is helping in this respect, because I don't think that we would have been able to pull this off so easily well, it's not easy necessarily, but to pull it off so easily if it wasn't for Zoom. So we've even been having somebody from Switzerland, from Australia, and from China participating, Mozambique. And it's just people that is not prompted, but they come and they say, okay, we'll help.
Wow.
Okay. So that's something I just want to relate.
That's wonderful. And that's so true, because the sustainability from our discussions today, we really I want to stress the fact of that, to have that successful club environment, which is vibrant, etc. And maybe I should actually just share quickly. Yes, it is there. I've got it here. Let me quickly share that there is where's Zoom? Okay. Zoom, there we go. There is a sheet called the Moments of Truth. And the Moments of Truth, you can see it says Club Quality Standards Evaluation. So this is your evaluation form to see if you have a quality club. And of the things that we've discussed today are kind of represented in here. It starts off with first impressions. Now, remember, this one is, its terminology is not on online meetings, but we can see it in an online fashion, or however your club's needs are. Guests are greeted warmly and introduced to officers and members. So when they come in, is there some kind of interaction while people are waiting prior to the meeting starting? Is there something that we do to create a warm, family connective environment? It's easy in a face-to-face environment, but when you're online, what innovative ideas are we incorporating to have that warmth? Guest book and name tags. Okay, that's in face-to-face, but online, what do we do online? Is our Zoom set up well enough that we are capturing the information so that our VPM can reap the information of the registrations from Zoom? Can you see? It's got to be strategic in thinking. Professionally arranged meeting room, well, professionally slides of welcome, and how do we create a professional environment in our Zoom or Teams or whatever application we use? Guests invited to address the club. We always do that at the end of the meeting. We ask them, please share with us your experience. How did you find it? And so the president would say, now, right now, I officially close the meeting, but before you all disappear, please can we just hear from our guests how they found the meeting, and then would ask the different guests to connect and share with us. And then from the program planning, program and agenda publicized in advance, you've got to try and do that week in advance time frame. Members know program responsibilities and prepare to carry out all assignments. I've got in my training the new member orientation. I've got a PDF of all the roles, what their skills are. There's live links on it to click to draw from Toastmasters International, their resources, to draw little videos Luyanda and myself made regarding those roles. So I'm telling you, there's a lot of resources under the VPE things. All project manuals, okay, those are now the pathways. Meeting begins and ends on time, creative table topics and activities. And especially if you've got that planning and you've got your themes, that you can incorporate the theme to cope with that again. Positive and helpful evaluations. And that can only come if you only have a handful of people, that you bring people from outside in, so that it's not the same old people doing the same old thing. Is there a member orientation taking place? What is the member's strength? In other words, this is where your mentor comes in. This is where the planning of VPE comes in to make sure that all of that is taken care of. The member strength is your club at least to have those 20 members, and that members are retained, and that the club is being promoted the way it should be. And then that there is fellowship, variety, and communication. I have discovered that if you update your Zoom, there are Zoom applications, brand new Zoom applications. They are like party apps that you can play. And why not just say, hey guys, just be spontaneous, because I'm sure you have groups that are, I'll come back to that. And achievement and recognition, that you make sure you do the achievement and recognition. Let's go to this quickly. I'm sure as a club, you would normally have 3 WhatsApps. The one for the exco, the one for the club members only, and one for club members and guests. Some clubs only have 2. They have the exco and the one that the members and guests are on. So on this one, the members and guests, do some activities, because a lot of people sit on those groups for a while. Now, remember, we said anything that gets posted on the group, they just take note of it. People don't really easily react. But I found that you can, as VPE, you can come in there and just ask a simple question and say, is there anybody here that struggles with time management? I came across 3 amazing things on time management, and I'm willing to share it with you. I did that on one of the clubs where I was a club coach. I did that, and then I would say, tomorrow night, I'm going to do a 15-minute meeting. I'm going to share those 3 points with you, and we'll have a bit of time to chat about that. Who would like to come? Me. And I just had this 15 minutes. Anybody can quickly find 15 minutes. It's not going to cost them a lot on data. You understand? Just quick. So we log in there and I quickly share the 3 points. We chat with each other, interact with each other, and we find the guests of that group pop in there. And after a few of these little 15-minute quick chat visits, those people became members because they began to experience a connectivity with the actual Toastmasters and value of what's in the program. So I want to encourage you on something like that. And you can also say, anybody ready just for a 10-minute break? Who needs a 10-minute break? Open up a Zoom, play some songs, dance together, get somebody to tell a joke and say, okay, go have a great day now. You can do it from 7 to 10 past 7 in the morning. You can have a midnight pajama party and tell them there are rules for it. But try and be creative and have just these short little quick connectivity moments and build a culture and connect with each other. I hope that inspires you to think about something else that you can do with your members. Okay, let's proceed. So, sustainability of the club and managing club meetings. Watch the VPE Masterclass video. Still strategizing, membership retention and growth. We've discussed quite a bit of that. And yes, even in there, the same thing is a very interesting statement I came across is retention is the single most important thing for growth. If you can keep them, you grow better than getting new people all the time. And so it is also in the VPE Masterclass video and on VPE 08. I have information there for you. Right, let's look at the program and agenda. Let's discuss the program and agenda. Our time is almost running out, but we've just about covered most of the sessions there. So tell us what is working for you regarding your program and agenda, and what's not working that you need help with. Talk. Yes, no.
So with our program and agenda, we generally sort of say to the Toastmaster of the day that you are somewhat in charge of directing the program. They approach the members, and then me as VPE, I tend to play a supportive role. They come back to me, they're like, I'm unable to get 1, 2, 3, or I'm struggling to do 1, 2, 3. Can you maybe assist in guiding that? And then I assist with that. Like recently with our most recent meeting, it was a new Toastmaster. So he did a lot of the groundwork, and then he was struggling to find certain role players. And then I stepped in to find speakers and restructuring the program. So I end up coming more on a review and a support role from an agenda perspective. Because at the end of the day, if the agenda or program is not done, it's on me. But having the Toastmaster do the program, it sort of assists, it sort of gives the Toastmaster an idea of what how they want to, it sort of helps them in terms of planning out the meeting for them, you know, instead of having us as the VPE do everything from a program and agenda perspective, and they are shocked on the last minute, you know. So yeah.
That's excellent. Absolutely excellent. Just what you've said now, Nana, is absolutely brilliant. What I have found is, if we as VPE step back and we do our planning, in other words, I've got it as a planning schedule for every member, and when I can put them up for the year to make sure everybody is progressing well. Then when it's time for a meeting, then whoever is, so let's say the circle on the left represents the Toastmaster of the day, and the circle on the right represents the general evaluator. And it's exactly the same in a meeting.
The Toastmaster of the day is going to lead the speakers, the toast of the day person, if there's a joke master, or the table topics master. Whereas the general evaluator, again, is going to lead the evaluators, the grammarian, and the timekeeper. And that's how leadership is being developed, with your Toastmaster of the day leading their team, and the general evaluator of the day leading their team, and the VPE leading the Toastmaster and general evaluator.
Remember, Toastmasters is where leaders are made. So this is where we learn to lead others, and where we teach them to lead as well, where they can grow their leadership. And let's say goodbye to each other quickly before we are being transported. Let's put on our cameras and say goodbye to each other.
Bye.
And say thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Craig.